If you feel very safe, you might not take risks because you feel very safe and you feel that everything is under control and you don't need to really do anything out of the ordinary. In order to encourage people or create an environment where people feel, yeah, let's take a risk, you almost have to take a little bit of safety away. On the other hand, you could also easily see how taking away all safety or too much safety might again produce that original result that people just feel too scared to take any risk.
If you're too afraid to make mistakes, you never come up with something creative. That was the sentence. Who was that again?
I think it's Einstein.
No, it was someone.
Einstein.
I mean, he was
Einstein made a lot of he had a lot of bullshit theories before he came up with the good shit.
Like many kids in America, I think, I watched a lot of television, and what I would see in television was these perfect lives. That's what I wanted. How was I going to achieve that?
You need to go to the top. You need to be efficient, effective, and do the right thing. And I think that's general for all Western societies, really.
But now you log onto the internet, and there are millions and millions and millions of opinions about what it means to be successful.
It's necessary to fail. You can't be perfect all the time.
I think we have more and more tools to help bring our manifestations into reality. You know, you set the intention of what you wanted to happen, and maybe you had this dream, and maybe you never imagined it would go that far, but you know that you had this thing in your heart, and you had this feeling like, oh, I really am so interested in this thing. I love it. I'd love to see it develop into something, you know, and that energy behind it set in motion a certain chain of events.
I think the way you view yourself, your own agency, your own ability to act, to take responsibility, to take risks, growing and developing and playing with our identity has always been part of that mechanism of a certain anonymity, of a certain, it's not quite me, I'm playing now.
So I think the anonymous part of the internet is kind of dangerous because you kind of see parts of your soul happening there in that online space that you haven't seen before, and somehow you're confronted with that because you're not really face-to-face talking to someone, and you're not really acting out your own personality, but somehow creating a second separate personality, and then you have to kind of see whether that fits together or not. So yes, it is easier to find the right people kind of for your goals. But then to really get into interaction and really have a relationship going, whether it's a work relationship or a private one, it really means that you talk to them and feel with them and have failures together.
There is a lot that just cannot really be understood and conveyed until you actually are in a room with a person and understand the person. The context of the environment has given people the feeling that they can actually open up, and I've had conversations with perfect strangers about like how their lives are being, or all the topics that I've discussed, and it's very good to be able to enter into that relationship.
What you do on the web is not so much attached to your own personality, so somehow you can succeed online whether you are failure in real life or not. If your ego is not in the center of your action, then you kind of can try out all those actions that you have thought about before, but you never dare to do them because they were so closely attached to your ego that you thought, okay, then the possible failure will be attached to me as well, and like, I don't want to fail, so I don't take that risk.
I always believe in taking responsibility for my actions and my comments. This is something I didn't used to do. I used to think, you know, there's Oscar Wilde's famous quote, "Give a man a mask and he'll speak the truth," but I think it's far more important that we actually take responsibility for our own truth, and that we actually stand up and be counted, and we don't take pot shots from behind the scenes. There's so much disconnection that technology provides us with. Unless we can remain authentic to ourselves, then we're kind of just creating problems. But you know, enough people wear masks in real life. I've never believed it in real life either. It's much better just to be yourself and and take accountability for that.
If you have less of a fixed idea of what is successful, then you're less likely to fail and more likely to enjoy what success comes.
Your need for success always is attached to your feelings for need of love, to feel loved and to feel respected. And that's exactly why we fear failure so much, because it's really a fear of people not loving you, or not respecting you, or not liking you anymore.
Do other people think I'm failing? You put that like, you know, does he like me? You know what I mean? This sort of shit, you know? It's like, a lot of the time you're thinking I'm failing because what other people are thinking about you.
And only when we can go inward and really be happy with ourselves 100% no matter how we are, does that fear disappear. And then there is no failure.
Is there a difference between losing a game and failure?
When you play games, it's a contained set of rules, and within that you can lose. But I think failure, the way it's used in the English language, is it's almost like game over. You don't play again.
I mean, game over in a game isn't actually game over, it's just start again, isn't it?
I think we need to get away from this idea that failure means you don't play again. Because you always play again. And you might play better. Because you've done more than lose. You failed. And it's a much more deep experience of learning. And the capacities you might develop as a consequence of failure might make you much better equipped, fitter to play again and win this time, or actually succeed.
Is the game I'm playing actually the game I want to be playing? Or am I just being forced to play this particular game, to enter into this social or economic structure, or do I want to start playing an entirely new game? And when you're playing an entirely new game, you've got to find some people to play with.